Hi guys, how's it going? Anna, Alchemist of the Arts here. I wanted to share some thoughts with you on the current energy. So a bit of an energy update and thoughts on what this kind of means, how we can work with it, and what we might have been experiencing, and also sort of some of the reasons why this might be happening. So a progressive theme of this year has been an awful lot of things being triggered within us to come up to be healed. And if you've been sort of doing your work on your path for some time, this might be quite a familiar pattern to you. And this can be within our personal relationships, it can be situational, it can be very personal, it can be very much connected to the collective or the mass consciousness. It really does depend on what is coming up and the ways in which you are feeling triggered. The reason for this is always, from my opinion, to give us an opportunity to work with that energy, to work with those emotions, and to really reconnect with and heal ourselves so that we can elevate and become to a deeper understanding of self, and obviously bring that deeper understanding of self to the table and just be the best people that we can be. Why? Because obviously that benefits the people around us, it benefits the mass consciousness again, and just, by us being our best selves, being in an elevated vibration, it just raises the consciousness for everybody. So that's a really quick overview. The energy in itself that a lot of us might have been experiencing over the last few weeks, particularly in the build up to Winter Night, to Samhain, to Halloween, was a real kind of throwback into some really old energy. This could have been addictive patterns and cycles coming up to be released. It could have been past trauma coming up to be felt and to be expressed. And this can be really, really challenging, because the way in which the human body processes these emotions, on both a sort of spiritual and a physical level, these emotions are non-physical, but they are felt through the body in a very physical way. Now, this could have resulted in bouts of extreme tiredness and lethargy, of feeling very almost disconnected from our path and not knowing the way ahead. Just a huge clearing. It was kind of, just being called to rest, but at the same time receiving massive intuitive upgrades, receiving, greater awakening, more messages from your spirits, gods, guides, ancestors, whoever it is that you resonate with, whatever path that you are on and you have chosen or chose you. Many of us, regardless of the path, have a very similar experience, and this is, the commitment to personal growth work, to personal development, to spiritual growth, and in an essence our own ascension, which I personally take the view of, we have to go through and heal ourselves in order to elevate our own level of consciousness, which again, both in the very real world, helps the people around us, because we're bringing the best 3D version of ourselves to humanity, to create, to contribute, and to interact with other humans, which can inspire them and help them to heal as well. But again, just being in that higher, raised and elevated state, does a lot that is beyond the 3D. So yeah, it could have been a really, really dark time for a lot of people, especially with what's going on in the 3D world. An awful lot of shadow work. Again, like I said, an awful lot of triggers coming up from past situations, from people returning through Mercury Retrograde, through not feeling like we can progress with things with Mars Retrograde, and just the constant flux and shifting of energy that has felt really very intense and very chaotic. And you probably find as well, like, the quicker you get going through these cycles, it's like anything, that the bars, if you looked at a graph, the more intense, the more fluctuation there is in the bars. And this is, again, it's just the reflecting the polarized nature of the energy that we're experiencing. The deeper the depths that we work with, we work through our shadow, we work through our trauma, we work through our conditioning, through our limiting beliefs, our old versions of self, working through our epigenetic trauma, through our inherited cultural stuff that we're shifting out. The deeper that we work down through that, the greater, the flip side of that is the polar opposite of that energy. what I mean that means is obviously, like I said, you might have an increased intuition. There might be a great deal more messages coming through in a 3D sense. You might have more energy. You might be feeling more driven um, to progress with things, to start new projects, or having creative ideas, and sort of realizing that there are projects now or things that you want to work on, that you want to create, that you want to bring into reality. And I think this energy is going to continue into the spring. And you know, in a very sort of earth-based sense, winter is you know, we're in autumn, but coming into winter, it's this time for us to gather our resources, our inner resources, to introspect, to reflect, to go through what we have developed and what we have grown through the course of the year, our harvest, and to then start thinking about the seeds that we're going to plant or have planted to grow in the spring. So this is a really good time for that. This is a really good time to be reflecting on how far we've come, to acknowledge that and to celebrate it, because I feel like this is a key point that you know, light workers or shadow workers, or, you know, earth-based pagans, whoever you might be, you know, a lot of us do our own personal growth work with a different vocabulary, but it's all about, you know, growth and being the best self, to put it very simply. And we don't take enough time sometimes to celebrate that, to take stock of how far we've come, and to really appreciate how far we've come. And this is one of those things. It's I did reference this in a video that I made last week. What gets measured gets improved, and being able to have a visualization point for where you started to where you have got to in this present moment is a really valid tool for I don't want to say self-appreciation, because you do have to give yourself some love and appreciation for the work that you've done, especially through this dense energy, but to also see the potential for growth and just how much can change when you commit to your path and to your energy, and to really focus on that. So yeah, the 1111 energy is definitely bringing through a deepening sense of awareness, far deeper intuition. One of the big things though is we have to really begin to honor our intuition now. Whatever path you're on, you might be gifted with awareness, and you might get insight from within, messages from your God's guides, ancestors, from spirit, from within your dreams, from within, you know, things that you see, things that you hear, whatever way it comes through for you. And it might be that you're guided to do something, and sometimes from experience we're guided to do something, to try something, to literally get to the point to know that that isn't for us. And it's like you have to stick your toe in the water for your intuition to go, actually no, or to work with your intuition, to allow for these tiny course corrects to keep us on our highest possible timeline. And it's allowing that process, really beginning to trust ourselves, our higher self, our intuition, and the guidance that we receive. And more importantly, you know, it might not be spoken in messages. It could be very physical through the body, or very subtly physical through the body. A sense of anxiety, a sense of dread, a sudden repeat of an old emotion that comes up, and we're just like, where's that come from? I feel really uncomfortable. My gut's, you know, I feel it in my gut. This isn't right for me. So often we feel that we have to ignore that, or we're taught to override it, conditioned to ignore it. And I feel like this time is really now vital for us to honor our intuition and those feelings that we have through the body. I am going to do another video on this, because I've just sort of lumped that in on the end, and there is so much more to say about that. But happy 11/11. I hope you're having a good week. Happy Wednesday, and I will speak to you all really, really soon. But sending you all my love, and take care. Bye.